Alright, welcome back to episode 3. We're still here in the Velvet Room. We got Eeyore here talking to us, or as we like to call him, the Penguin.
You became unconscious.
Although his eyes are
awakening
super
to your
crazy.
power. It's nothing to worry about, though.
As far as like the Persona universe goes, so like he's a character that's constant in all of them, but I don't really know how much they've done to like explain like
Who he is or what
I don't
he
know
does.
if maybe they explain in like Persona 1 and 2 a little bit more.
It was Orpheus that he.
I'm not
that
sure.
power is called a persona.
I'm not sure if it's just one of
It
those
is
things
a
where they're like,
manifestation
as
of
Persona,
your
just
psyche.
deal with it.
Yeah.
Or if it's something where they've actually like tried to like give it a reason.
Civilization?
It
Oh,
may
Persona.
take some time to fully comprehend. A
And this is
persona
another thing.
a
I think
facet
Persona
of
4
your
did better than
personality
Persona 1,
that
so
surfaces
or sorry, Persona
as
3.
you react to external stimuli.
The personas all come out of a psychology called Jungian psychology.
Mm-hmm.
You can
The
think of it
idea
as
is that you have the
mask
shadow,
that protects you, as
you have the
weather
super,
many
you have
hardships.
your conscious self, and
Uh-huh.
at the lowest level of it, you have the shadow,
That being
and it's the
said,
things that are that you're kind of
your power
unconscious
is
of.
still
They're your
public.
like base, like who you were, who you would be if you had no conscious.
Okay.
Above that, you have like the
Use
ego,
your
super-ego
ability
kind
Yeah.
of stuff that like
to
Freud
channel
also
inner
talks about.
strength.
Uh-huh. Oh, Freud.
But
The
Jung
ability evolves as you
attaches to it
develop
this
your
idea of the
social needs,
persona.
your
And he says that you have the
stronger
shadow,
your social
which is your base
needs,
desires,
more
but then you have the
powerful
super ego that keeps it in check, and then you have a persona, which is a mask that you attach to yourself to cope with variable situations. And it's the part of yourself that is
Please,
dynamic,
remember that.
that can adapt to different situations. And this is kind of where like you get the idea of like around my family I'm one type of person, around my friends I'm a different type of person, around this
Yeah.
group, like in the professional workspace I'm a different kind of person.
Next time we meet,
And some people don't like the
Until then-
Jungian psychology because they think the idea of calling it a mask is like saying it's
Farewell.
fake. But one of the things about that psychology is that it's not anything to just write off. Like who you are around your friends and who you are around your family is still very much you.
Mm-hmm.
And anyway, Persona 4 does a good job of every character when they unlock their persona.
There's an elf behind you. Whoa.
Wait, what?
The guy, it's like you feel someone behind you.
Oh.
Awake.
8-bit
How do you
D&D.
feel?
I love it.
I'm just going to assume that you
Where
should
am
be
I?
here because
Thank goodness
Yeah.
you
you should
finally
be here.
came to.
Hey,
How much
every
sleep do
time I
you
wake up, there
need?
should be a
It's been
beautiful
whole
woman
week.
looking at me.
Hey, every time I wake up, there is.
Oh.
Take that.
Well,
Well, actually, not
crap.
every time
Worried
because
about
usually
you.
she leaves before me.
Before you get up.
Yeah. Oftentimes
Oh,
she wakes
yeah.
me up though.
This is Tatsumi Memorial Hospital. It's just a short walk from the station. The doctor couldn't find anything wrong with you. He said you were just exhausted.
And shot
But
yourself
you
in the
kept
head 3
sleeping
times.
and sleeping. You know how
Or was it
worried I
4?
was?
I think it was 3.
You seem to be okay. You only shot yourself in the head.
It only
3
took
times.
7 HP. Every
I'm
time I
sorry
shot myself, it
couldn't
was
do
only 7
anything.
HP.
Even though
I could
was
totally
supposed
afford to
protect
shoot
you,
myself like
I-
5 more times and not die.
Apparently our brain is in our other head, because otherwise we'd totally be dead
Power.
right now.
It... You mean the shadows? They're what we're fighting against. And the power you used, we call it persona.
So as I was saying, in Persona 4, they did a good
We'll
job of
explain
every
everything
character when they
later.
unlock their
I'm
persona,
sorry I didn't tell you before.
they have to face their shadow. And this is an important part of the Jungian psychology idea is that people tend to run away from their shadow.
Mm-hmm.
If they ever like see elements of it,
wanted to
they're
tell
afraid
you
of it.
that.
You're afraid of kind of like that part of you. And the idea of Jungian psychology is that you should not be afraid of that.
I'm sort of like you.
You should accept it as a part of yourself, but keep it in control.
Yeah.
And that's what they do in Persona 4.
Why are you telling me this?
My dad died in an accident when I was little. My mom and I aren't exactly on good terms. You're all alone too, right? To be honest, I already know about your past. But it didn't seem fair,
I've been
so-
stuck.
I don't even know about my past.
She's apparently
It was
been
back in
stalking
99.
us.
Apparently my
There was
parents
a
are
big
dead.
explosion
That's
in
why
the
she's
area.
got this attachment to me.
Supposedly, my dad died in the blast. but nobody really knows what happened.
And even though she's already attached to me and is clearly in love with me,
Supposedly,
He was
her
working in a
dad died in the
lab run by
blast.
the
Well,
King
he's
Egypt.
coming in later.
no.
So, I'm hoping that if I stick around long enough, I'll find out something. That's why I'm going to Gekkoukan High, and why I was there
Let's
when this
find out on a
happened
later
to you.
episode.
Yeah, I guess so.
Of course, I passed.
Cut to
It
episode
wasn't my
4.
job.
No, I'm just kidding.
It was my first
2 minutes in.
thing. I'm sorry.
So, I've
I wouldn't
noticed
have
this
to go
little
through
thing
all
up in
this
the
if I
right
wasn't
corner,
such a
like the
coward.
next 22. Is that like...
That's the next big it's the next big event.
Gotcha.
It'll show you. It'll give you a little bit more reasoning behind it.
I was scared too. Oh.
I didn't tell her I was scared. I'm totally cooler than that.
Here I am telling you all this.
When I
the
was
minute you
16,
wake
I would have
up.
told her I was scared too.
While I
Be
was
like,
waiting, I've
I'm
been
cool
hiding
now.
so
I'm one of the cool
Thanks for
kids.
listening.
Not gonna lie, if I actually experienced the Dark Hour, I'd be freaking terrified.
I hang out with the shark.
All right, I'm gonna get going.
Pet shark. You think freaking shadows scare me?
I'll let the others know you woke up. Take it easy, okay?
I live in the
Be a
shark
good
tank.
patient, and don't hesitate to call the nurse. I'm sure she'll take good care of you.
Is she hot?
Bye.
Persona 4 had a nurse that was. You interact with her to form the devil social link,
That
and it was
has
kind
some sense to it.
it was kind of annoying because like she actually was like a temptress,
Uh-huh.
like
Well, it kind of makes sense if it's a devil link.
it pretty blatantly, like, it doesn't show you anything, but it pretty blatantly is like, yeah, your main character's having sex with the nurse, which I disliked. I don't know, I don't know.
Yeah.
Again, call me a prude,
You're a prude.
but I just don't think it's.
I don't actually
I don't like.
feel
I
that
don't like.
way. Yeah.
I don't like it in my games.
Yeah. I can understand that. I'm not going to disagree with you. But you did ask me to call you a prude, so I did. I like that they use the Japanese titles.
Yeah. It very much tries to give Westerners like us a feel for the Japanese culture around school.
Yeah. A lot of times in games where they use, like, the Western
Okay,
titles...
hold on, we gotta pay attention.
Oh, Struggle Against the Mammoths?
Sengoku era. Japan's
Okay.
history is not that exciting. Man, this is one of those ones where you just have to actually know it.
Paleolithic and Neolithic. Paleolithic is stone.
Do we want to resort to
Neolithic.
Google, or do we want to do this with our raw knowledge?
Raw knowledge, baby.
We're gonna totally embarrass ourselves. Somebody's gonna leave comments. They're just like, "You guys are idiots."
Yeah, well, we are idiots. So,
High school trivia, man. Who cares?
I don't know how the tools were made.
Look at
but,
first off, look at this
no.
guy's helmet. He's wearing a Sengoku era helmet.
Is it how, it just
That's
looks
why
like-
he-
oh, the guy, the teacher.
Yeah, that's why he was like, the Sengoku era is my favorite.
It's my favorite.
All right, hold on. Let's.
Neolithic and Paleolithic.
Okay, it's not who used the tools. It's either how the tools were made or the patterns on the tools. So Paleolithic, I'm thinking it's how the tools were made.
Sure. Chipstone, grounds. Well, you know, you learn something new every day. I want to get to the age of katanas. Everything else is so dull. Katanas are pretty cool. Oh, you're really smart. You became slightly more popular.
Your charm has increased. Apparently, being smart makes you more charming.
I wish that were the case. I would have been popular in high school instead of...
Were you the smart kid in high school?
Dude,
I was a smart kid in high school. Everybody hated me.
everyone hated me. I was that kid that was like... Like, they'd be like, I spent 5 hours studying for this. I'd be like, yeah, I was playing Kingdom Hearts. And then I'd get a better grade than that.
Oh yeah.
I was especially good with chemistry, so it made people even more angry because chemistry is something that most people just don't get. Like, I remember one test, the average score on my class was like a 35%, and I got an 80.
So you were totally that outlier that like screwed the curve for everyone.
Yeah, the next highest score was like a 65. I was like, that was from my AP Chem class.
I don't know why, but like when I said you screwed the curve on that one, what popped into my head was Scott Pilgrim. Like right after they're in the second to last battle where they're against the twins, and like everything explodes, and what's his face is just like, we really screwed the pooch on this one. I love that line.
Scott Pilgrim. The first thing I think of when I hear Scott Pilgrim is Scott home? He jumps through the window.
Nope. He just left.
You know what? He just left.
Reaches in to grab his coat. This is the best scene in the whole movie.
It so perfectly reflects that feel of like, I need to break up with this person, and it's like, I'm avoiding it. Or like, I forget, did he break up with her and she came over to see him? Or was it he hadn't broken up
That's
with her
before
yet?
he breaks up with her. That's him like avoiding breaking up with her right there.
Yeah.
The reason I asked you.
But
here
that's
is
like the
because I
greatest
needed
scene
to
in
talk
that
to you.
movie.
Here, take it for a second.
Okay.
Please, have a seat.
Okay. Yeah. Like, it's
Oh,
one of the
before
greatest
that,
moments.
I
Like,
believe
that
I
movie
mentioned
has
him
so many
earlier,
great
but this
moments,
is
but that's
Akihiko.
definitely my favorite.
Oh yeah, that's the only one that like when I first saw it, I stopped the movie and I was like, rewind.
Start off by
When we watched it together that
Every
one time,
every time I watch that scene,
just,
I
like,
have to
stop,
stop,
rewind.
rewind, and watch it again.
In 24 hours.
Would
I
we
feel
believe
like
him?
I feel like if I said yes, I would get my my smarts would go down. They'd be like incorrect.
Do you believe me?
No, you gotta say no. We gotta be way too cool. Like
Okay.
nothing would ever surprise
Nothing
us.
does ever surprise us.
You had to have noticed the signs. The streetlights went out, nothing was working, there were coffins everywhere. Didn't it feel like you were in a different time?
I thought I was just tripping.
That's the dark
I was tripping.
a time period hidden
Not-
between
not
one day
actually.
and the next.
But I'm way too cool to be startled by this.
Hidden?
Crap.
Between?
Crap. All these make it sound like we don't understand.
Civilization?
We gotta go with hidden. Yeah,
Okay.
hidden, because we didn't really think it was hidden. We're like, "Pfft, that was totally obvious.
I guess it's more like something people aren't aware of. But the dark hour
Yeah.
does exist. It occurs each
Sorry,
night.
I feel like
at
there's a
midnight.
lot of
It'll
opportunity
happen
for
tonight. and
civilization
every night to come.
in this one.
Shark keeps referencing this. It's from Gurren Lagann. And it's not even one of the more like iconic moments, but we love it because there's just one point where like Kamina, somebody mentions civilization to him, and like they say it in like this big fat like sentence long thing, right?
Uh-huh.
And Kamina's response to it is civilization.
Like, that's the...
as in like that's like the only word out of the whole sentence that he picked up.
And it's not even the most surprising part of that sentence, if I
Right.
remember right.
Call them shadows. They only appear during the dark hour and attack anyone not in a coffin. It's our job to defeat them. Sounds exciting, huh?
Wait,
If you do watch Gurren Lagann and you haven't already seen it, watch it in English. If you have seen it and you watched it in Japanese, I recommend watching it in English. At least the first 8 episodes in English because they're awesome.
yeah.
Kamina's just so much better in English.
I don't really...
Akihiko,
I don't
why are
usually
you always
prefer
like that?
anime in English, but when I do, it's Gurren Lagann.
Yeah.
You just got hurt the other day.
Like, almost everything else, I can't even think of another one I prefer in
He does
English.
his work well.
The only other ones I don't really mind in English are
I like
Studio
Yu-
Ghibli films.
I like Yu Yu Hakusho in English just because Kuwabara is a lot more
Long story
unique.
short,
I guess that's true, but then
Like-
I haven't seen Yu Yu Hakusho in Japanese, actually.
We're the
Most of the
special
ones that I like in
extracurricular
English are the ones
execution
where
squad.
like
C's for short.
they have this character that's like your dumb,
On paper,
retarded
we're
braggart.
classified
Yeah.
as a school club.
And in Japanese,
reality,
the
this group
voice
is
actor for them
dedicated
just
to
sounds
the-
stereotypical,
Mitsuru is
and
the
maybe
leader.
part of it is because I
I'm the club advisor.
speak Japanese, and so like the stereotype's a little bit more obvious to me. But even before that, even before I spoke Japanese, like
A shadow feeds on the mind.
I
of
still
the
preferred
The victim
the
becomes
dumb,
a living corpse.
the dumb boastful retard in the group. I always
They're
preferred him in
responsible
English.
For most of the incidents on the news.
Yeah,
Like the
Kuwabara's
English just
funny.
made it like Kuwabara in English is way more funny than Kuwabara in Japanese. What about the police? Or no?
Nah,
Let's
how
do
do you
how-
fight
yeah,
them
how do you
makes
fight
us
them?
sound more like
Yeah, we're not relying on the police.
hardcore.
rare.
We don't rely on
There are
anyone.
those who can function during the dark hour.
I feel like we
Some
should have
may
just
even
been like, "Where's my
awaken
gun?"
To a power that
I want
enables
a
them to
gun.
fight the shadows.
I want that.
That's Persona, the power you used the other night. The shadows can only be defeated by Persona users. Which means it's all up to you guys.
It's all up to the users. Like Tron. I see.
I'm glad you're quick to understand.
Oh yeah. Because we're smart.
What he's trying to say is, we want you to join us.
So what exactly do I get out of this?
We've prepared an evoker for you. We'd like you to lend us your strength.
They're like, we have to fight the shadows, but I feel like it's not really very clear why.
I don't know if they mentioned it yet, and we just weren't paying attention. But they mentioned earlier a lot of people were coming up with apathy syndrome.
I was afraid you'd say
Okay.
no.
I don't think they've explained
Welcome
the
aboard.
connection yet, but the apathy syndrome is being caused by the dark hour, basically.
Thank you
Gotcha.
so
They'll
much.
they'll
I'm
specify
really
that
glad.
later.
Oh, I almost forgot. About your room assignment. Why don't you just stay here, in your current room? I don't know what the holdup is, but I guess it worked out in the end.
Chuckle.
Hold up. Wasn't that?
Wasn't that
Oh,
us
never mind.
experimenting
Wasn't
on
that
you?
part of the plan?
It doesn't matter anymore.
By the way, we experimented on you while you were asleep.
They didn't really do any experimentation.
I guess
They
that's-
were just watching.
Watching. A mysterious voice. Ooh, I wanna be the mysterious. Thou shalt have our blessing when thou choosest to create a persona of the Fool Arcana. A new social link. You recall what he said about social links. Yeah, no. Not really. But... Oh man. They're coming. They're here.
Hi,
I like
how
me
are
some
you?
Lord of the Rings too. Hey, it's Creep Fest. That's what I'm naming this kid. And you are? That's kind of a... chill.
We've met before.
My name is Creep
Soon
Fest.
the end will come. I remembered, so I thought I should tell you.
I don't care.
Really?
Yeah.
This is
You
me
say
not
so.
caring.
To be honest, I can't tell you much about it yet.
I'm here to tell you the end is coming, but I can't really tell you anything else, so... Yeah, I don't care.
Oh,
Look, you want to just let me
Simply
sleep?
awakening
Come on.
to your
I was
sight.
enjoying my nap.
and an unusual power
Yeah.
it is. A
When people
power
wake
that
me,
takes
I'm not
many
usually that
forms,
nice.
Yet is bound by none.
Especially when they wake me in the middle of the night.
It may prove to be your salvation, depending on where you end up.
It's one of the nice things when I was working night shifts
Do
is
you
no one ever
remember when
wakes
we
you up
first
in the
met?
middle of your sleep because you like turn off the phone during the day because there are no emergencies that happen during the day. Emergencies
I
always happen
expect you
during the
to
night.
honor your commitment. I'll be watching you, even if you forget about me.
Wow. I told.
Okay then. See
See you later, Creepfest. I don't know if he left or if he's like still there watching me invisibly.
And he just faded out.
Yeah.
And faded nothing.
And he's gone. And we just skipped the whole day.
Hey, it's me.
Apparently we spent the whole day in the
Can
room.
you come
It's
down
Sunday,
here?
man. We ain't got nothing to do.
We don't even
And we're
have anything-
Japanese, so we don't go to church.
He's here now.
Yeah.
So, what's this all about?
And we don't have anything to do in our room either. So we just lay in bed until evening.
Hey, hold your horses. This is freaking heavy.
Junpei? Why is he here? Wait, don't tell me.
This is Junpei Iori from Class 2F. He'll be staying here as of today.
Yeah, we know him too. Do we get to experiment on him in his sleep?
He's staying here.
We already experimented on him.
I bumped into him the other night.
Of all the men you don't want sleeping in a co-ed dorm, Junpei Iori is one.
And he agreed to help.
You have the potential? For real?
But you're a loser.
Only cool
He found me
people have
crying like a
potential.
baby at the convenience store, surrounded by a bunch of coffins. I don't remember much, but man, that's embarrassing. He said
Well-
that's, you know, completely normal in the beginning. Like being confused and not remembering anything. Did you guys know that?
Didn't happen to
Happened
me.
to me.
Deal.
Yeah.
It happens to everyone else. But man, I was shocked to find out about you guys. I had no idea.
Yeah, well,
Glad
welcome
I'm
to
not
see.
the only one.
Er,
It could get kind of lonely, you know? I'll bet
Yeah,
you're
Season 5
stoked
Fantasy
too,
8, man.
right?
Or
Happy
9.
to join?
Or 10. Or 6.
Yeah.
Well, enough with the introductions. I think we're about ready.
I still gotta finish 5.
We're gonna go do something? Sweetness!
With this
This
many
is
people,
great
we can
music.
start exploring.
I'm not
the
getting in
place.
the groove. That
You mean
place?
Tartarus?
Sweet, we're going to the underworld. Under the underworld.
Is that what Tartarus references?
Tartarus is like
Sounds like toothpaste.
the pit that they threw the Titans in
Is it? I didn't
in
know
Greek mythology. Like, you have to go into Hades to make it to Tartarus.
that. I didn't know that.
We believe we can find the reason.
I
for
think
the dark
that's
hour there.
what it was. I could be wrong. I'm not
I
a
hope so.
Greek scholar, ancient Greek scholar.
The chairman will give us the
I'm a level
details
50
tomorrow
scholar.
night, so be ready.
I-90.
Oh man. Only I-90. It's been like 2 weeks since the patch. Kind of noob, are you?
My monk's I-92.
Okay. That's acceptable then. I guess I never see you playing Monk anymore.
That was what I cleared Moogle Extreme on.
Yeah, I wasn't there.
I know. That's why we cleared.
Shut up! Except zing! Wow. I feel so bad because I didn't have a good comeback for that. Not because you cleared it without me, but because I didn't have a good comeback.
You weren't expecting it.
Thought I was gonna
I
fall asleep
really
in
wasn't.
there.
Can I have a minute? Come to the lounge when you get back to the dorm. I have something to tell everyone.
Come with me if you want to live.
Are we having that talk?
I'll save the details for later. See you there.
Wow, she didn't waste any time leaving.
Probably should have cut a little bit ago.
Yeah, this is actually getting kind of long
She's
because we've
probably
sat through a
busy with
lot
things
of
like
conversation.
student council. Unlike
I think
us.
we'll stop right before we get the explanation of the Tartarus.
Okay, sounds good.
Ooh, Yucatan.
I think that's a good spot, and then we can start the next episode with
Well,
dungeon
it's
crawling.
not that I don't
Good
like
old
her.
fashioned.
She's just...
Hey, it's 4:20.
Bowl.
Class is ended for today. You've been asked to return. Okay, I'm narrating again. I think that means it's time to swap.
Time to give me the controller back.
Yeah.
Shark has a tendency to, when he's in control, he just like degrades down from commentating and having insightful discussion and witty comments to just summarizing everything people say.
Yeah.
For a long time,
So I can't stay in
Mitsuru
control
and
for very
Akihiko
long.
were the only Persona users we had. But that number recently jumped to 5. Therefore,
See that. I'm glad you can count that high.
starting tonight at 12 a.m., I'd like to commence the exploration of Tartarus.
Now the way that they do, like the fact that they just give you 5 people, it's like all these 5 people can use their personas, makes a little bit more sense for this game because the game
Sorry,
is
I
just
asked
all
this
about
yesterday,
exploring
but
Tartarus.
What's this Tartarus thing again?
But at the same time, that's kind of like a hit against it because like the whole game is just one big
You
dungeon.
haven't seen it, Junpei?
There are some extra. There's some extra dungeons. We visit a love hotel.
Seems legit.
Yeah.
It's no surprise
Lots of people are showing up there with apathy syndrome. You know, they go to love hotels and come
Yeah.
back like totally drained of all soul.
Yeah.
since it only appears during the dark.
The Dark Hour?
Sorry, I was still thinking about the Love Hotel when he said it only appears during the dark hour. It's
You
like,
can think of it as
That's a
nest.
creepy love hotel.
yeah.
But, Senpai, what about your injury?
I feel like some cult would do that. If there was like a cult of people that realized that they were conscious during this dark hour, they'd like
Since
gather together
Akihiko
like
hasn't fully
some
recovered
massive
yet, he'll only come as far as
Yeah.
the entrance.
eat, drink, and be merry while the world ends type group.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Well, I'm sure he won't complain, as long as you don't go too far in. Since we're dealing with shadows, Tartarus isn't something we can avoid.
Relax, I've got your backs.
Sit down,
I'm not
noob.
so sure.
What about you, Mr. Chairman?
I'll stay here. As you know, I can't summon a persona.
And yet I've got this mysterious air of calm
Yeah.
during the dark hour.
Yeah. I don't know. Well, I think that's probably a good place to
Yeah.
swap over.
So here we are outside the Tartarus. We're gonna go ahead and cut here. Give you a nice little cliffhanger before episode. Are we on 4?
This is it?
I think next one.
Yeah.
This is the
I don't
place?
know. I've
Next
already
episode.
forgotten.
I don't remember what episode we're on. But we'll go ahead and cut here and give you a thing to look forward to with
Yeah.
the Tartarus. Because we're gonna be spending a lot of time there.
Yeah. Well, see you in hell.
See you in hell.